Good afternoon at the time. Welcome to Masterpiece Theater. Y'all have been patiently waiting for weeks for me to do this. Pick a card, give repressed self. And that night when I was gonna do it, the rain never came. I stayed up to almost midnight and I was like, I'm going to sleep. And then I found out it didn't start raining until like 3 a.m. But today is a rainy day. And I actually turned on some rain sounds in the background. So this will be extra dramatic. Right? So accidentally, this week's theme is, hold on, I didn't do a bottom one. I got hidden in plain sight for the top one. Let me see. Okay. Because you know I'd like can sense when something is the right answer. I'm like trying to figure out the best way to say it. I'm always gonna have to explain it as it's like when you have an itch and you need to scratch it and you know you have it or you're done with it when the feeling goes away. I know when I'm on the wrong card because the feeling is like, nope, keep going, keep going, keep going, as opposed to when I have the right thing. And then it just like everything stops for a second is the feeling that comes through. So hidden in plain sight, respected individual. So I'm going to do 3 piles. And I'm going to focus on the shadow. Now keep in mind, guys, during this North Node in Pisces, everybody's unconscious selves will be revealed to them in some way, shape, or form in alignment with the house where Pisces is in your chart. So Pisces in first house, it'll be very direct and in your face. You'll be probably linking up with a lot of people that remind you of you in some way, just as the universe keeps like flashing you at you everywhere until you start to develop or release a sense of identity. But I think in the case of the first house, it would be you identifying with certain traits to realize like, oh, this is me, right? In the second house, you're going to be learning your worth, like talents and stuff you didn't recognize you had, possible things that help you with money, but then also like, it's like coming into your own, coming into what you want for your human. It's the house of Taurus. It's what you want to do while you're on earth, right? Pisces in third, this is going to be a connection to your clear gifts. Your mind is going to be working different. You're going to be learning to use your intuition more and to pick up on different signs and messages. Pisces in fourth, you might be moving. Your home life could be very, very weird right now. It could also be a magically mystical time. I'm getting like unreal, but like what you dreamed of. It could be a pinnacle. But keep in mind, all of these results and what you're going to be focusing on, even if Pisces is in this house for you, vary based upon what planet is there and what like level you vibrating at. You're only in fairy tale world if you've been working on fairy tale world for a while. For somebody else, it could be like this is a pit time in their addiction. Okay, so Pisces in fifth, very imaginative time, creative. Might be a time you accrue some debt, but it also could be a time of like flings and very interesting relationships, surprise children, and this is all what I'm channeling right now. Pisces in six, you're going to be working very selflessly. Might also have to deal with some stuff that has to do with your health if you've already been giving out too much selflessly, but definitely a change in the way that you deal with yourself and your human, how you manage it on a day-to-day basis. If you have Pisces in seventh, you're dealing with some partnership stuff. If you don't already have a partner, one is likely going to pop up because this is the past life house too, something that was undone. You get a redo in some way, shape, or form. And if you're already in the relationship, then whatever issues that y'all had left over from the time before, y'all are going to be working to fix this time now. So Pisces in eighth, I sympathize, empathize, and whine along with you because that's where I have it. If you have any repressed memories from childhood, they are coming up during this time. This is the house ruled by Scorpio. This is sex, death, taxes, abuse, inheritances, murder, robbery, real estate. There's just all the taboo stuff, all the like things to transform a person. It's all the stuff that gives you soul burdens, right? So if we are light beings, right? Fractals of God's energy, just light. My mind just saw like a flicker of glitter, right? Whenever something bad happens to you that changes you from that pure light structure, that changes your vibration or cracks you or anything, right? You get a piece of soul, right? You didn't have a soul at first, you were just a spirit, you were a light body. The soul is the part of you that has been transformed or is still heavy. It's like the reverse diamond, if you will. Like if you were a diamond, something like flash fried the diamond, because that's what Pluto is. It's fire. It's something that burns typically. Just even emotionally, whatever the event is, you're scarred or burned or tethered to what happened to you in some way, right? So it would be the diamond getting flash fried until it turned into a piece of coal, if we were thinking reverse. Until eventually it had a shedding period, like what this North Node in Pisces is, where you would be transcending, clearing that off. I hate to say transmute, but it is partially that. But when I think of you transmuting, I think about like burning fuel, like something is heating up to make something evaporate, right? When I think of the Pisces energy, I don't think of transmuting like that. This is more like I'm melting energy. It's just falling away and there's nothing you can do about it. It's not the same as the Scorpio burn. This is more like a peaceful IV drip of you just letting go. Okay, Pisces at ninth, right? You are going to be releasing a lot of your old belief systems. Everything you thought is no longer what you thought. This is about politics, about higher education, about your belief system in general, how you feel about religion, philosophy, foreign relations, anything that broadens your mental perspective outside of everything you learned growing up from your family and where you were raised locally. Pisces in 10th, this is a great time for your career, I'm probably going to say. Like there are levels to it, but I'm going to still say it's probably a great time for your career. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're working on, especially if you are an artistic person, which you probably are because you have Pisces in 10th, it's going to slap. It's going to come together. Others will see your vision because your vision was meant for others to see. Pisces in 11th. This is stuff to do with your friends, with humanity, with the way the collective sees you. I'd imagine like a releasing of a bunch of friends or people that you thought were your friends. Releasing the hold that other people's opinions have on you or thought processes. It could be even you realizing you need a different group of friends, or you becoming more spiritual and finding like people outside of what you used to be drawn to. But it's like dissolving your identity from just one individual to searching for where do I fit in the bigger picture of things, and that becoming more of a focal point. Like trying to find your tribe. And it's weird because I was like, this is about losing your ego, but it is about losing your ego. But in the house that is ruled by Aquarius, you're losing your ego, but you're looking for the rest of the crew that you belong to. That's why you're losing your ego there. In 12th, this is already at home if you have Pisces in 12th. That energy is where it belongs. You are going to be releasing any old programming that's been overuse of conscious, things that you have been doing for like no reason. Example, I was eating I was eating chicken. I don't like putting my hands or getting my hands dirty on chicken. So I always get chicken tender over wings. Yes, I'm in Atlanta and it's really weird. So I'm always getting like lemon pepper hot tenders, and then I eat it with a fork so I don't have to touch it, right? But I had the option to get something that was sticky or something that was dry. I wanted the sticky thing more. I can't even remember what it was. But I opted for the dry thing, which I think was like French fries. We're talking about sides here, to go with it. And I never thought about why I did it or why I make the decision or anything. But I hate having stuff on my hands. This is just a simple example, by the way. So I went with something that I didn't even like want that much over the other thing just because my hand ticked. But I observed it. How many things do we do that we don't even notice are our regular behavior or why we do them in the first place? Because I can't have my hands sticky. Like even right now, I have like, and this is the place I was eating from, but it's one of the wet wipe things. And even after I use the wet wipe thing, I still have to go wash my hands again because they feel like, now that I'm processing, I'm like, oh, when I was younger, I would always have that issue. We would never have anything to wipe our hands on. It was horrible because I had to like disassociate from myself and like not feel my fingers and just deal with dirty childhood. But your unconscious patterns are developed during childhood, and there's stuff that you just do that you never realized was not a part of your original structure or your behavior. And most of the time with this, it's reflectory. Like somebody else is showing it to you or something happens in your dreams and is reiterated in regular life. But there's a lot of deja vu that's going to come through for the people who have Pisces and 12 during this time. So with that being said, the subconscious is the realm of stuff you aren't aware of, you haven't been noticed, you haven't been observing with yourself or your own behavior. You just do this because, and then like in the 11th house, you just hang out with these people because like that was what was going on before. Now you're going to be getting into the deep-rooted reason so that you can become aware and start making decisions based on your intuition and now your knowledge because the unconscious has become conscious. So today's hidden in plain sight, your repressed self, pick a card, is going to be sort of poking pride. And it's only 3 piles. There should be a fairly broad spectrum in each pile that you should find some messages that resonate for you. I should already be triggering something you already know. Is not just going to be like, oh shit, like I never knew that. It's going to be like, hold up, I kind of, you might even do that's not me, and then be like, okay, there's a variety of ways that your unconscious self can be brought to the forefront. The biggest thing is that I'm just shining a light so that you can decide if you want to go down that rabbit hole and start to unravel the pieces of self and character, because the only way out of this matrix is by going in, because God is within and up. Everything outside of that is just gonna take you off the freaking yellow brick road. And I don't even know how I feel about the yellow brick road anymore. So I'm about to just pull 3 random cards from here, and then I'm going to use those as the cards y'all can pick, and then we'll go from there. I feel like I need to turn this light up a little bit. That was geeky. Okay. I'm going to turn my faux rain sounds. Since I'm not staring in the camera for this part. This freaking screen. I didn't realize how much it takes out of you when you stare at it for hours. I'm not squinting it. I'm like, because I don't want no Botox. Don't touch your face. That should be a rule. I'd rather see a graceful old lady than a botched Botox. But hey, it's the times, right? So card for pile 1, please. Card for pile 2, please. And then for pile 3. This pile 3 gets a bonus card because it hopped out on its own. Because I was pulling 2 for all of them. Okay, so pile just for the play. And oh my goodness. And this may have something to do with this. From the moment I start, I'm tapped in. Let me show you guys something. So my daughter likes to sit at my work desk and eat her dinner and watch Dance Mom. She's really obsessed with Abby Lee. Like she loves the drama, right? But every time she sits here, she gets a new bottle of water as she watches. And now there are all of these, and I saw some of them, but I didn't notice the ones behind the computer that are just half full. The first thing that made me think about was the movie Signs. Like everybody in the house had these weird different quirks that nobody understood, like why they had them, or some of them they didn't even discuss with other people, but they all came in handy when like this big bad thing happened. It turned out that every gift, every purpose, every even bad thing that happened was all connected into something that was preparing them for like a really big moment. Like they didn't even know that the universe was working in their favor. Also, like the movie Lady in the Water. I love that movie, right? But that's just what that made me think about, signs. So as I'm going into this, think about the signs that have been coming towards you most recently, because they have been trying to, because of this energy. And Mars is in retrograde. That means that the energy that pushes us to get stuff done is now actually pulling back from your energy, but it's pulling back from your energy in the emotional field. So it's giving you an opportunity in some ways for you to step back outside of yourself and your feelings and to see a situation from a broader perspective. That is also what this is going to help you with. So, pile one, if you were trying to. Oh, that's what I was going to do. Like, hold on. Pick a number between 1 and 3. Let's make this multi-layered, right? Pick a number. And it helps, or it could help, if you do that deep breath thing. In through the nose for 3, hold for 3, out through your mouth for 3. And that'll just clear your mind so you can pick. So, okay. So, you picked there. Let's see if it lines up in the psychic training business with what I pulled here. So, pile 1, this is your photo for your pile. Oh, let me turn this off for a second, man. That did not help anything. But this is fragmentation, number 1. Okay. Number 2, artificial heart. That card looked like it been through some things. It has. It has. Artificial heart, pile number 2, because it stopped looking crazy. All right. And the one that fell on the floor, pile number 3. Alone in the world. Naked and afraid. That one's just like, okay, so we put piles 2 and 3 up. If you're my time stamping homie in the comments, it's pile 1 time now, officially. Like, I'm trying to like throw up gang signs to myself that I can see in the thumbnail so I can be like, pile 1 starts here. But fragmentation. Okay, so fragmentation is when something happens and you disassociate or you splinter, if you will. This is usually a psychological term or thing that happens to people so that they can survive the rest of what happened to them. I saw this thing like in the beginning of my awakening, maybe like 2 years in, and it was an Oprah clip about a woman who had 23 different personalities. And I was like, I gotta click this. Like, how did this happen? And I had never been into like psychology enough to look into it. I had questions, but I was around a lot of people that as soon as I asked questions, they'd be like, why are you worried about that? There's other stuff to worry about. And I just sort of like shrunk away all the parts of me that wanted to know more about things that might not be bright subjects, right? So it turns out that she had been physically like assaulted since she was 3. And she stayed there till she was almost, I believe, 10. But because of what she had endured, her mind had fragmented, it had separated into different parts. And she just kept saying, although she was very able to speak, although very emotional, just like consistently, Uh, the mind is so kind. Like if your body still survives something, there are parts of your mind that will shut off or push stuff away so that you can continue to live on this in this experience without being haunted by something that broke you, technically. So that is fragmentation. The second card that went along with this one was perchance to dream. Isn't it? Yes, perchance to dream. So what I'm getting from your repressed self, pile number one, right? This is like there are things that you wanted for yourself, maybe even secretly. This can be the life that you wanted for yourself, period, your career. But that moon back there lets me know that these are things that were, they never got to get off the ground. They never got to bud, like hopes, aspirations, thoughts. So part of you became what you needed to be. And then the other part of you became the part of you that just thinks about it sometimes, that dreams about this whole other, maybe even shamefully. Like, yeah, why am I still thinking about this? But you're thinking about it because it's still in you and it's still a part of what you were supposed to do. The person you became isn't necessarily the person that you're meant to be, is what I'm getting here. So let's get to cracking. I feel like I need to get my cards to have the statements on them. Because the shadow or repressed self has something to say, but where did I put them is what I am asking myself right now. And I usually don't move my cards for anything. That's the one pile that I have in my, like wrapped in a hair bow because I merged two decks together. Well, thanks. Maybe my daughter took it. Okay. Because Alexis will pull some cards really quick. Anything's going on in her life. So, all right. While I was down there, when I thought I was grabbing the shadow or the shadow speaks deck, I grabbed the runes. And I haven't used these in a while. So runes I think are cool. I don't use them much, but as I am, that was weird. It just showed my mouth like the annoying orange. My little rune book. But as I am getting more into using divination through frequencies and sounds and trying to see like what I can pick up off of things through my hands and stuff, maybe I will start getting into these more. So let's see what rune goes along with the message for pile one. What does pile one's repressed self want to say? I'm already feeling like this video was going to be long. Okay. Like I'm just like, as I'm sitting into the feeling and getting comfortable, I'm starting to get the message about what I am doing here, like what I am working on healing with this collective in these three piles. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, let me get comfortable because that's not anything light. As a matter of fact, when I am doing this, I am partially able to tell you guys what's going on here because I am sensing the feelings go through me. So it kind of works like the Green Mile. Like after I get done, I'm dog tired, boss, because I've taken on some transference, some energy from this decoding thing or letting it come through my sensors this whole time. Okay, let's put together a whole like, all right, these are the cards I'll be using for this. Message received. But I think that came off of the rune. So I'm going to be interested in seeing how this pans out, but I'm feeling right now like this is perfectionism. And that in relation to the character that you had to develop. That's what's coming off of this Like this rune has to do with the character that you had to develop, not the one that's behind the mask. This is given the energy of somebody who dreads going home for Christmas because they have to be one type of person there while they're at home for Christmas. That is not who they are like when they're at home or around their friends and stuff. There's who I am and there's who I want to be. So let's see. The vibration is consistent. I have some soul surgery readings to do this week for my backlog. Now I'm excited because soul surgery is like I get to be a psychic surgeon and see what is causing you pain, what is throwing your energy off, what is that angst that is bothering you deep in here, whether it be this life or another life. But it solves issues, like deep-rooted psychological issues. So, okay, now we're gonna see my pile of clothes because I can't like turn that. I'm just gonna pause it. Whatever. Don't. I can't show y'all that. I can't. It's a mess. I'm sorry. I have too much stuff. Abracadabra. Like I never left. Okay. So, and whoever you are, the Virgo in you is screaming, screaming at me. It's been screaming at me through the cards. It's been screaming at me through the room. And here's the description. So this one is known as EYs. EIHWAZ. And I'm probably saying it all wrong. I don't even care because I'm not like Celtic or whatever. I can't pronounce this. Strength, reliability, dependability, trustworthiness, enlightenment, endurance, defense, protection, the driving force to acquire, providing motivation and a sense of purpose, indicates that you have set your sights on a reasonable target and can achieve your goals. An honest person who can be relied upon. Didn't I say that that room was explaining the mask of who or what you had to be in order to be or feel accepted? It's like the repressed part of you is like, there's a Sia song, I'm in here. Oh my goodness, for Power One, that song should take you up and through. Like, all right, like, absolutely. Because you were like trained or molded, and it was not malicious. I don't want to say it's just a part of societal standards. You were trained to be an upstanding citizen. Hold on. You were trained to be a hidden in sight, respected individual. So that's wild. Do you feel that underneath that, what's behind that? In some ways, I don't want to say grooms, but grooms, cultivated exterior. There's somebody that everybody might not accept. This gives me the energy right now in this moment of like Prince Eric. Like even when he decided he was going to marry the chick on the beach, everybody was like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Like you got to make the decisions for the kingdom." Like that's the energy here. Like one duty, but inside one just wants to run free. Okay, so let's dig into where this wound, where the split began in this case, since that's your repressed stuff. If I was going to name this repression or this repressed person energy, Harvey Dent. My sense of humor is wild. But that's Two-Face from Batman. And it's cool to be two faces. I just had to send a reading to somebody the other day, and I was like, yo, I've come across a lot of dudes that are Jekyll and Hyde. There's two guys going on in there. That's okay. You know, sometimes that happens. We wild out, right? But the dude she was dealing with, I was like, man, you got the Three Stooges. This is just like, this is not it. But this here is Harvey Dent. And I think that's probably like hilarious. Wasn't he a politician? A respected individual? I'm so tickled. It is just the energy that's coming through me right now. Whoever this is hilarious. It should be hilarious for you too. Harvey Dent, Two-Face. What was his job? District attorney who strived to eliminate criminals through law. Respected individual in a suit. So, Shorty, you got an alter ego. Number one, you are not alone in there. If I could change this would be power one and two because I'm talking to both of y'all. If you look at your chart, you probably have a split first house. I don't see this written anywhere, but if you have a split first house, you or two people are doing this lifetime, you will be two completely different people. And depending on how the sun hits you, like transit wise, when the sun is in the first side of your house versus the second side of your house, you will give off two different vibrations from your character. Because the sun moving through is just moving energy through your fractal in different ways. So you're going to shine different when the light hits you in different ways. Split houses mean you have two different things. This person would have some Gemini stuff going on. And it don't even got to be planets. Also some third house stuff. All these things matter. So where did this split or this wounding occur? Put trigger warning on this just because. Just in case somebody ain't in the mood for my shit today. Even my mom sometimes when she asks me for advice about something and I go to give it to her, she'll take a deep breath first and say, okay, go ahead. Because I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be sweet as I can be. But I be like, I'm real. And sometimes maybe I don't know. I only talk to y'all as harsh as I talk to myself, which is something I'm working on. And it's still like, it's with humor. But sometimes people are like, so trigger warning. Okay. I'm pulling up the weeds. That's what I need to call this. This whole thing I'm going to call pulling up the weeds, your repressed self, because I'm about to pull something that is stuck in somebody's root out in every pile, and that could be like disturbing. I told y'all for the last couple of weeks I've been working on pulling out my own stuff, but it's like, man, I think I'm a masochist because like when you take something out emotionally or you pull it up to look at, you feel the way from it, but I'm like pulling, like I want it out. So we can go ahead and just transmute it and get this out of the way, but it knocks you down the next day. The next day you're exhausted. It's because you're working on healing your soul. That's another thing the soul surgery does. Pulling up roots in order for new things to grow or for you to repurpose that space within yourself. Letting go is the first thing that popped up here, right? But in this person's case, it was letting go of something they didn't necessarily want to let go of. The theme is taking off your mask because you have been selling out. And at the beginning of this reading, I started talking to y'all about the water bottles and the movie signs. What does it say? Pay attention to the signs. So life has been throwing you, all you, the ball to integrate, to bring your two pieces together. You don't have to hide behind a mask anymore. You don't have to pretend to be somebody else. You don't have to sell out. This wound for you started a very long time ago. There might have been some other things or ideas that you had about this life that were too big for other people to even wrap their heads around. Some of this stuff you let go. This is letting go. It's simply put, anybody could have read this one. Letting go of this right here is your life purpose, discovering your life purpose, and then getting stuck in cycles. Cycles of doing what you feel like needs to be done. When there is something bigger pulling or calling you. In my mind, just like flashed Simba. Like when his dad had to pop up in the sky, like, bruh, come on now. You know you're supposed to be king. Get your ass up. Like that's the energy that this is right now. Stuff. The universe, your signs, your dreams have been trying to get you to reconnect to what that original purpose was because you had to let it go at an early age when you realize that other things weren't being done. This gives me the like energy of like you didn't understand what poverty was. You didn't understand what not being rich was when you were little until you grew up some more. So all those dreams that you had was sort of like, dang, I really can't do some of that because I'm poor. I gotta find something that's more grounded, maybe. That's what this feels like. And then you got stuck in the humdrum of whatever happened to be the thing that brought you enough success. But it's like, is there more? There is a hunger. Like, don't you look hungry, y'all? She looks famished, right? Stuck in the same old. But it's like you've been stuck playing a role, stuck in a role that you, ooh, like they were casting for a certain role in your family, and you didn't necessarily want that role or even have the qualifications that lined you up with that role. You're a free bird, but you saw nobody else was stepping in the right place for the strong, responsible, hold it down role. So you're like, I'll do it. I'll just do it till somebody else comes along. And then so much time goes by, you forgot that there was ever even a different role that you were going to play. Like your wingman did not show up to take the place. And this I could see happening in a household where there was like a single parent or something. Even somebody who had to like take care of their siblings. So having to grow up early would be the root, I'd say, of this fragmentation or this split. And I really wish that Zek with what yourself wants to say would come out, but I'm gonna pull one card for that. I'm gonna find a clever way to do it. So who is your repressed self? We would turn it into a character. Although I said Harvey Dent. Let's see. My sense of humor that translates into my readings. It's just like stuff that makes me laugh. My mind uses as a way to explain the message to me. And I'm like, wow, you really wow. So, ooh, is Power One's repressed self. Okay. Limitless was the word that popped in my head. Like anything you put your mind to, you can do it. This is creator. And it says, weaver of imagination, creativity, innovation, invention, realization. And that's probably also why it really sucks that you had to wear the unresponsible shell, because you literally could have made anything work for yourself. Anything that you sowed seeds into was going to grow. Bottom line, you are blessed. You are blessed with the magnetism. Like life attracts you to the situations that help you get stuff done for yourself. Now it feels like this one is something you were aware of, like this stuff was sort of going the way you wanted it to when you and the phone is ringing. So confirmation. I don't even get calls. You notice this stuff, pretty much for the most part goes how you want it to. But maybe hearing it in this way will trigger something for you. Like whatever you plant seeds in, it grows. Even when you plant seeds for other people, that's how powerful you are. If you like wish a blessing on somebody, you notice things start to come along from it. If you add your little dot of juju, keep in mind, y'all, your shadow is not only darkness, although it's all repressed. Your shadow has some light parts too, like parts of your light you couldn't let shine, your little light of mine energy, right? Because just like in the Tina Turner movie, some people can't take that shine as well, and that gets put in the shadow. And that's what I'm feeling from this piece here. That part of you, it started turning into a belief that you had to work hard for everything just based upon what was going on around you. But for you, it didn't have to be that hard. It wasn't really that hard. As soon as you start putting your energy towards it, It comes together, but that's why so many people rely on you. Next one, repairman. And keep in mind, these are all traits that are just built up. Mr. Fix It. It wouldn't focus. There we go. Mr. Fix It. But that goes into what I was just saying about you, everything that you plant seeds into growing. And if you go after something seriously, most of the time you get it. If you're not the victim of a rigged system, right? If it's like the cards are fair and you get a shot at something, 9 times out of 10, you are going to win. Just because of the energy that you carry, which is why this repairman thing is important, because so many people recognize that about you, even if you didn't recognize it about yourself. You might feel exploited. Like when everybody notices you're a winner, everybody wants to be around the winner. Everybody calls upon the winner to help them with their stuff. But you volunteer. You are there for everybody. And that really could actually mean like you like animals though. But you like being around people. You like being helpful. It's like all the traits that you initially like had for yourself are a part of the mask, but they are, can I say, falsified parts? Like what was originally your naturally giving, caring nature has been so far exploited that it has now become a hardened shell version where you protect the actual part of you that wants to do stuff and the other part is just doing stuff in rotation. It's not even coming from the same place anymore. It's like you are obligated in some way. There's never a time or a thought about you not giving out your energy like you've been giving it out. But I'm seeing now the part of you that just wants to be free and explore everything as well. Like climb every mountain. Like literally, you might be into mountain climbing or the idea might have been something on your mind or skiing, adventure stuff. What is it, White River Rapids? But just exploring, seeing where the wind takes you, seeing what you can learn out in the world. And then making a difference. Making a difference as you're out exploring the world. It's like you never wanted to be tied down into what you had to be. You wanted to go out in the world, explore, and find out what you were. So there's still part of you that's like, who am I without all this responsibility? Ooh, there's a Kanye West line for this. The old Kanye, not the clone Kanye. We're not even going to get into that. My childlike thoughts. It's power. Power, Kanye West. And it's absolutely fitting for this. He knows he's so, hold on. No, it needs to start with the line before that. Now I embody every characteristic of the egotistic. That's what I feel like the shell is, because somebody has worked very hard to get to where they are, right? He knows he's so fucking gifted. I just needed time alone with my own thoughts. Got treasures in my mind, but couldn't open up my own vault. My childlike creativity, purity, and honesty is honestly being crowded by these grown thoughts. Reality is catching up with me, taking my inner child. I'm fighting for custody with these responsibilities that they entrusted me as I look down at my diamond encrusted piece. That's all of this. Someone who wanted to do something bigger got boxed into doing something smaller. And now those pieces are coming together out into the open. This was just supposed to be a confirmation that the feelings that you're having that seem bigger than you, this pushing desire to do something, this renewed like flame of I need to like that's the energy I'm sensing here. It's because you were like melting back together. Like old you wants to be out of the closet in a not sexually oriented type of way. It's like you want to be accepted for who you actually are. And you don't want the shell of the mask anymore. Now, not everybody deserves the teddy bear, the cuddle energy in there, right? But you would like to be authentic in your energy with boundaries. Not everybody deserves you. I think you learned that in a very hard way. Not everybody deserves you or your kindness or to get to know that part of you, but you don't have to walk around with a mask because the mask attracted a lot of things to you that were fake too. Just like the mask was a magnet for stuff that was not in alignment with who you are until you had to question this whole thing here. Like, who am I again? You split. You split into two different people because you had to live two different lives. And you know what's so crazy? I had, and it was so annoying. I had the last time Trey song get stuck in my head. Like, what is this song? Because clearly I'm not cheating on nobody. None of that's going on. It was just like, I'm living two different lives. So whatever, maybe that has something to do with this. So what does this person need to do in order to integrate, to bring both parts together? And I'm using my self-care one for this. There are hella backed up emotions here. Maybe this person has a hard time dealing with feelings because that was just like mentally, this person would rather hang themselves than to have to allow all that to come up. Like, oh, I don't have time to deal with feelings. But the thing keeping you fragmented into two parts is like a wall of feelings in between. That's why part of you feels like you're just fated to suffer. Like nothing's gonna change. Like this is it's jaded. Like this is life. It's just going like this. This is what I got. It's all I'll ever get. It's okay, but like, is there more? Is it wrong for me to want to know if there's more? You don't even know if it's okay to question anything anymore. You're so caught in the middle. But feeling your feelings will guide you in the right direction. I keep seeing like a dam. Like part of you is holding back everything you feel. And it would come up if you just allow yourself to be filled. Still, you've still been running around handling duties, everything you can in order to not just sit for a second and feel. Like if you would just sit, you ain't even got to focus on your breathing, but just keep breathing and find your flow in your breathing, then you will slowly start allowing your feelings to come up. That is going to be a way to also clear your energy field. Although I'd recommend a pink Himalayan salt bath to actually clear your field, and some sage in your field also. It's like a lot of people are in your energy and you are picking up their stuff too. So maybe when I was explaining at the beginning about that John Coffey, I feel so tired. If you interact with a lot of people and you take on a lot of their baggage, if people emotionally dump on you or tell you their sad stories or stuff like that, and you are empathetic and you actually like, oh, like feel some way when you're talking to them, if you're emotionally involved, you took on a piece of that. Even if you forget about it during the day, it's in your subconscious. So you are taking on so many other people's energy, and it feels like that needs to come up with the crying or the deep breathing or just being still, allowing yourself to feel, to clear out space, because you've got the same stuff cycling, which is why you are still in some ways cycling through some patterns that you clearly would like to end. I would like to say a fast of some sort, but like with a spiritual meaning. Like sometimes I like to do only halal, sometimes it's vegetarian, sometimes it's only soup. I'm about to start one that's raw, but like only living things for a little bit. It feels like only living things for a little bit would be great. Raw vegan, they call it. And the times that you can do that may vary, but it's a person covered in plants. All of this feels like focus, focus. You are moving out stagnant energy, right? To raise your vibration. You also need like a prayer room or a prayer center area. Like somewhere where you light a candle, light some incense, where you sit and talk to God, just a place where you know, like, while I'm right here, I am locked in. This is my spiritual center, my foundation to log in so that I can tell God how I feel. And then sometimes I'll sit here also and I'll just let God like pour through me and feel the energy here, like a safe space for you. And the more time you spend in that safe space, the more comfortable you will get over time with bringing that part of you that only comes out when you're talking to source into the forefront. It feels like that's going to be a major shifter here. Incorporating more of the relationship that it feels like you keep like sort of on the low that you have with God into your everyday life, into your aura. Don't be afraid to shine. It's like the mask you put on. Does it shine as bright? Like it's really helpful. It's really what everybody needs, but it's like I keep seeing that dude from American Psycho. And I know that's so bad. But you know how everybody sort of kicks him when he's cool, but there's an air of misery behind him getting it done all the time. Behind him just like, going after the stuff he's going after. It's like that'll be replaced with, I hear joy. Joy as you're doing stuff every day because you'll be back in your purpose. The mask has detached you from your purpose because that's not who you are. That's who you had to be successful. So I'm going to pull for a closing message from this report. Ain't that crazy? Now I see the deck. Crazy. Guess it wasn't enough for me to do at that time. One message from your shadow or repressed self that now wants to integrate. It is up to you if you want to integrate it because you would have to do some of those things. Working through your emotions or pretty much allowing yourself to feel them. Like you overthink your emotions. I'm getting, don't think about them, just feel them. Like you actually have to feel them, not logisticize. Is that a word? Not to think about them. Like, well, I feel like this. No, just what does that feel like in your heart and your chest because you've been holding all that back. That dam needs to come down. And that overflow will be cleansing. You need that cleanse. All of this is saying you need the cleanse. So, a hide behind material things came up, which is another sign here that you are successful. You achieved what you said you wanted to achieve, but it wasn't based upon what you actually wanted to achieve. It's what you felt like you had to do as being sort of the type person you are, right? But part of you doesn't trust yourself. You don't trust who you think you could be underneath your mask. And then it was like, I don't trust you, but I love you unconditionally. You need to have a talk with you. I'm like, why would one not trust themselves? Because you made some decisions that got you in bad positions. It happens. That's probably why the unconditional love is more important to trump over. I don't trust you. I can learn to trust you. I can learn to make better decisions one at a time. Doctor Strange, that shit. Every time something comes up, what way could this possibly go? That would not lead to something in my favor. If there's any chance that this is not going to go the right way or it's going to lead back to something I already did before, take the roads unknown is what I'm getting here. I don't know what to do with this last card. It was there, but I don't feel like it goes with the rest of this. You have to develop trust in who you really are inside as the soft, beautiful, caring person that you are, so that you can open up to yourself, and then eventually you can decide who you actually want to let in, because this hiding behind material things and the mask that you created is not going to fulfill you for long at all. The last card I'm just going to end with. Get it focused. I know you're watching me. How to? We are moving on. I will wait for a sign from you. I know I was a distraction from your pain. All right. Pile one wasn't done yet. And let's clear up out of there. I don't know if that actually works. Whatever. Let me put the glasses back on. I'm back. I got some of my own splitters going on. So pile two, the artificial heart. Whatever you have not really been feeling or putting like joy behind, have you just been going through the motions like power one? Artificial heart is when you're pretending to be into something that you're not into. And in this case, you are stuck in a situation where you're pretending to love it, but you really hate it. That's what's in your repressed self. This could be a job. This could be a relationship. This could be a contract of any sort. You hate it. You're done. You have been pretending that this is great, and it is not. It is not. Also, keep in mind, guys, with all these powers, the theme is hidden in plain sight as like the main arc. The respected individual is like the underlying tone. Yeah, there's nothing either I can pull off of this more. Like this is plain. This energy feels like when somebody disrespected you and they disrespected you multiple times. So when you finally get to the point, you're like, when I see you, it's going to fight. That's what this feels like. You are tired. You are done. This situation is not working anymore. You're almost to the point where like, if you don't get out of this, you about to crash out. You're going to act up. This is a problem. So your repressed self wants to cut somebody out. I'm like, what is on the outside show? Who is the person on the outside? Somebody who looks like they're functioning in the situation and they don't have any malice or revenge or anything. Relatable. Because I was just about to say this is given like trying to think of a good example, but the only one I can come up with is like a Stepford wife. Or like Nicole Kidman when her programming came off and then she still had to pretend like she was the Stepford wife. That's what this feels like. Like the Stepford wife is still like stuck, but the parts that are hiding are this part, like just wait till you go to sleep like that. That's what the energy. So let's see what the root of this is. This feels way less heavy than Power One. This feels like situational, as opposed to Power One that felt like their whole life was like there's been some part of them kept in the closet for some reason. This feels like this is like a piece of self. Because Katy Perry, a part of me, just started playing in my head. So, what is the root of this repression? Why is this being repressed? Hmm. Dang, I knew this was similar to Pi One. Take off your mask came up again. But I mean, I guess because this is your repressed self, a lot of it could be mask. But self-sabotage is coming up. Not wanting to go against the family unit. And that literally popped up. Family and tribe. Oh, this is smiling at a dinner party where you hate everybody there. And it doesn't even have to be like full on hate yet, but if you keep having to be at these dinner parties when these people are getting on your nerves, it will turn into hate is the energy I'm feeling here. And that's just a metaphor, if you will. It's like continuing to go on in a situation where you know this is not even it. Is self-sabotage. You're hurting yourself for other people, and that's where the root of this started. People pleasing. Well, that's interesting. So your repressed self or your unconscious shadow self that is stuck in a situation you don't want to be in is a people pleaser. The front end. Well, I can't even say that the front end's the artificial heart because nobody knows that this person like isn't into it or the revenge. Like that's what's hidden in the background. So that makes the front part the people pleaser and the other part like dying. Dying to be out of this situation. So, how teachable are you came up as well. I don't even know why I took my little braid out. I looked up, I'm like, what did I take my braid out? But all sorts of stuff happens during this so I can focus on what I'm hearing. Like, I be playing with my hair, I'll braid it, I'll paint my nails, just all different stuff to like process what's coming through because the energy is like, It could be like your family wanted you to do something or you had some sort of idea placed in your mind, like by your family, like this is acceptable by your family. And this could even be a relationship. Like, you know, when somebody wants you to get married or you can't be just shacking with somebody or something, like you settle down with somebody you did not want to be with. So this is self-sabotage. It's working against you. You're doing this for other people. Like you are hiding a whole part of yourself. But how teachable are you though? Are you willing to listen to your own self in order to get out of that situation? There's still part of you that is stuck in a victim consciousness, like, oh, I have to stay here. Whoa, it's me energy, right? But you don't have to. You can free yourself from the situation. You have to listen to the signs and the stuff that has been guiding you to liberate you out of this, is what I'm getting. So, who is stuck in the shadow? Dang it, sorry, guys. Or what parts of self are stuck in your repression or in your shadow? On Jeopardy in here. Oh, so doctor. This made me feel like healer. Healer of ailments, treatment, surgery, diagnosis, compassion. The next one was friend, keeper of trust, companion, support, sharing joy. Researcher, explorer of truth, exploration, study, rigor, experiment. What parts of self are in the shadow? Okay, using that example of somebody being in a relationship like because their family thought it was best, it feels like there are whole ass parts of this person that they can't express in the relationship that they're in. That's why the artificial heart and the revenge. But who's keeping thyself in this situation? Yes, it could be difficult to make moves to go in a direction that is going separately, but staying here is self-sabotage. Like there are different aspects of self that aren't being explored because the relationship is like boxing. Like it's caging, but it's a cage of like mental imprisonment, internal imprisonment. Because other people's opinions are just thoughts. They don't actually exist. They can't keep you there. What's somebody going to do if you leave? I learned a very long time ago. I'm like, hold on, there could be a group of people that want you to break up with somebody and they're like all in your business, like, no, this relationship is trash, right? But as soon as you break up with the person and you're not with them anymore, does anybody care or even talk to you about that subject? No, because it was never even their thing. They just had their business in your business. It's the same thing with when you're in a relationship that is good for you or bad for you. People are going to have the opposite opinions. It's like this place continuously tests you on what you really want for yourself versus what everybody else is projecting or putting onto you. This person is not fragmented, not split like the other one, right? But they are holding back parts of their self in their development in a place or an area in their life where it no longer serves them. And it's creating or fueling like a beast, is what I'm feeling. Socialite was on here too. Just, yeah. All of the traits that came up, they weren't cohesive, but it's because they were like puzzle pieces that are missing to the wholeness of this person that has been stagnated in their growth and development as a human being by being tethered to a soul tribe that is not like their perma one. It's like they've been tied to their karmic soul tribe, one that they can't come out in front of. Because it's like, imagine your whole life, you guys grew up together. And I guess you can use Tarzan as an example. Like y'all grew up together, you notice your homie looked a little different, but then one day the other humans pop up and you're like, hold on, you're one of those? Like there would be some issues. It's like this person has been a sore thumb amongst a group of people, but just trying to fit in the whole time. And now the other humans have popped up and like, hold on, you with them. You're not one of us anymore. But it's like this person's like, no, I'm with y'all. I'm cool. I'm just gonna stay here and in the wild. That no, you can't stay in the wild anymore. You're being pushed out of the wild back into society. It's like party you back into your birthright, back into alignment with things that are meant to fuel your heart. And that's crazy. Look, the first one was fated to suffer. The first pile at the bottom when I went back over there, this was at the bottom too. So both pile 1 and 2, even though I don't feel like they're the same person, they feel the same way. Like if they met each other, they would be like, oh, I feel you. Both of these people have in some way, shape, or form had to wear masks that are not versions of them. Pile 1 splitting into 2 people. Pile 2 having to hold back. Like I'm picturing a plant growing, but this plant is only letting like 3 of its petals grow out and it's holding back the other ones so that nobody else in the field of 3 petal flowers notices that this one has a full bloom going on. Holding back to avoid whatever the backlash is from growing. I would say to stay in the situation that is keeping you boxed would be way worse than the discomfort that will happen initially when you try to exit the job or the situation or whatever. Integrate. I'm like, what can you do to pull this piece out? I'm like, oh, it's nice. What does pile 2 need to do in order to bring out these other aspects or to heal this repression? The rest of this was all sexual energy. I cannot lie. I have to tell you. I did not want to get into that. It's daytime. We're rainy vibing. We're like shadow working. Your sexuality is mad repressed. Pile number 2, like it was 4 cards back to back all about sexuality. Okay, we get it. You are pent up. So, in order to heal this repression, burning ritual. Tomorrow is a full moon in Leo. That has to do with the heart. If artificial heart is the problem here, it will be the perfect time to remove any bindings around your heart with a burning ritual. As I release anything connected to my heart energy that is no longer in alignment with where I'm meant to be. Burn. I remove all the blockages in my heart. Now keep in mind, you got to keep your boundaries up. You got to remember the lesson that you just learned from whatever you went through, but you can clear the blockages and the pain and the things that are keeping you from being courageous, because courage is also the heart. And then the sacral, like that runs together. The energy comes up through there. Plan a vacation. But this feels like you need to go somewhere by yourself. Just have a moment with you. Remember what it's like to be with just you for a moment on the vacation. And then spend some time with friends. It's like you need to branch out from the situation you're in. If you're at your job all the time, you need to get some friends outside of work. If you're at home all the time and it's a relationship keeping you down, you need to make some friends outside the house. Baby steps. Baby steps to getting out. And I love this. Hold on. Didn't I say the burning thing? It's 2 burning things. You need to write something out and burn it. That way, energetically, you can say, I no longer want this. So that revenge will start building, that regret, that resentment, all the R's. But build strength. This has to go along with that courage, that fighting the victim consciousness, that I am stuck, that I can't, I won't, Everybody else is working against me. And it's from a logical place. If you had people go against you a lot of the times just because their idea of what you should be didn't match yours and you felt bullied or beat down by it, sometimes you fight back and you do feel like a victim in your own life. But I'm getting very clearly here that you are not a victim anymore. You can stand up. You can do the hard thing and have a lot more years of happiness going forward than the years that you have spent unhappy. So, forgot the rune. What is the rune for? One hopped out. Pile two's storyline. Shadow. Where'd you go? Like what? And it will stay in my mind all the way back there. Isn't it crazy how stuff falls and it goes like all these random places that has nothing to do with where you like drop it at? So, okay. Express Yourself by Madonna started playing in my head, but that's probably a correlation to all the unspoken things from all the parts that have not been expressed behind that broken heart. Express yourself. Let's see. Make sure this is the right one. Let me show y'all. It looks like an N. Nah. Oh, I held it up too high. And ah, ah, ah. There we go. It's the closest y'all gonna get. Hagalaz. Hagalaz. Ooh. Wrath, wrath of nature, destructive, uncontrolled forces, especially the weather or within the unconscious, tempering, testing, trial, controlled crisis, leading to completion and inner harmony. I don't even remember what the hell I said. I felt off of it. That was so powerful. But revenge, the storm is building behind that wall of the heart, and something has to be done, leading to completion and inner harmony. Control the crisis before it becomes a crisis because it's unconscious. Part of it says hail. Dang, why can't I remember the song I just heard when I was holding this? When you channel it, it goes in and out. It's like a radio station, just bang, bang. I don't even know, y'all. That was weird. Express yourself. Oh, if you don't say something, unleash the dragon. You will unleash the dragon. You have to do something. This can be no longer. It cannot be held back anymore, or it's going to come out in the opposite way, which says catastrophe, pain, loss, suffering, hardship, sickness, crisis. So you're being told this now to be honest and forthright and start making moves towards what would make you happy and decrease that unhappiness. Or things are going to go into a way where you're going to be forced and have no choice anyway. It's like you can do this the easy way or the hard way. And that's just source. And your unhappiness and your unconscious. And the fact that the North Node in Pisces is developing stuff for your unconsciousness and for your wellness. It's for your mental health. This the Pisces energy rules mental health and isolation and sicknesses, right? So if you don't start processing the unconscious, it finds other ways to make it conscious or to sit you in the corner where you have time by yourself because it's also the house of isolation and the sign of isolation. So what message does pile two shadow have for them? Okay, pile two, if you leaving something, I am not coming back. Whatever it is, whatever that thing is, your shadow, as soon as you unleash it, as soon as you incorporate it, as soon as you do whatever your shadow is asking, and when it gets released, it's not coming back to the situation that it was in. It won't. It wishes things could be different, but it's just not. It's done, 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 done. It's like it's so unhappy that it can't deal with it anymore. It's over. It's like whatever it is you prefer yourself. Your shadow would rather be by self or not in association with any of those people. I wish it could be different, but if it's between me and you, baby, it's gonna have to be me choosing me. And I'm not gonna come back or give this another opportunity. I've done this road, I know how it goes. So that was file number 2. 3, whoever's helping me in the comments. Maybe message me if you're the person doing it, and I'll just give you like a free soul contract or something as a thank you, because I don't have the patience, and I'm just, it's the earth ADD, y'all. Sorry, I keep noticing like dandruff and stuff because I keep digging in my head because I'm trying not to dig in my head. As soon as you try not to do something, you keep doing it more. Order to let your hair grow. Y'all know I got a goal. I'm getting there, right? But like it's yourself fighting yourself, and maybe that has something to do with file number 3. But as soon as you say don't do something, you start doing it. You don't touch your hair if you want it to grow. Now I'm like, so alone in the world. That's pretty self-explanatory, eh? It's cliche of me to say that the shadow feels unseen. Because of course it's supposed to be unseen as the shadow. But this shadow feels like you never look at it. It's me, number 3. I thought it was appropriate. Like I had no glasses for the first one. I think I had glasses for the second one. And I figured like that should be pinky or something for this one. So alone in the world was the first one. Your shadow does not feel acknowledged. And even it's like part of you might not feel acknowledged. Maybe you're not seen the way you want to be seen. When I cracked the nail, I didn't notice the whole time. It was like, but when I went to go look at the cards, what was in the further or the unconscious of pile number 3 is knuck if you buck. It's like there are a lot of things that you could fight other people for. And my phone just went off, so I'm gonna go with that being confirmation. Are you a outsider? Are you a part of you is a loner? Because this is the shadow. I'm not looking at the actual person. I got to keep that in mind. Stay to yourself so you don't have no problems, because chaos seems to follow you wherever you go. And anxiety. Sorry. We're just really. Oh, no, I'm so freaking weird. Whatever. What? All things for a reason, and I am channeling somebody else's energy through me. So, are you a nail biter? It's like all of this repressed stuff will show up as anxiety. It's like dealing with a whole bunch of stuff that you have no control over, and you feel like you're the only one that can handle it. But that's internally overwhelming you, trying to keep a on whatever is going on with you. So let's see if this is situational or whole lifeable. And no, that's not a word. But if the dictionary is full of made up words, why can't I make up a few? Lifeable should mean like all your life. And in this case, we're about to see if this is just like an era for pile number 3 that you are having to, I was going to say eat shit. It seems like it. This is like a person that has to walk around like, even though knock if you butt is playing in the back of their head. So they feel very lonely. Like they can't express how they feel to other people. Nobody can know how they actually feel about anything that's going on. So what is the root of this shadow? What is the root for this shadow? This feels like just one singular aspect that pile number 3 is holding back. Oh, this is religious. Inner child religious. Like your negative feelings are not allowed. You must repress them because that's what God would want for you to do. That's the feeling I'm getting here. Like it's improper. Ah, improper for you to express anger or uncouthness. This is like somebody who wants to cuss people out but can't cuss anybody out because somebody will be like, that's not how we handle things. You were raised better than that. That's what this feels like. It feels like church background. No matter what is going on, no matter what you're mad about, nah, you have faith. You give that to God. You don't get angry. You don't react. But it's causing the dragon. So maybe, I don't even remember what I was going to name this at first because now I feel like it needs to be called How to Train Your Dragon. Because everybody had a little bit of dragon going on here. But I said your repressed self. Damn, it was a good one too. I don't even remember. When you channel it, it's in and out. It's not even really your thought. You were just the conduit. You were just the station. So, can I get some more info on this person's repression, repressed characteristic? Hmm. The songs that go through my head, whatever. I'm just gonna tell y'all. It's not my reading. I need to tell y'all every detail because only you will only know if it resonates with you if I tell you everything that's coming through me. And I just heard it was a Jay-Z bar from Monster. It was love. I don't get enough of it. All I see is these vampires and bloodsuckers, right? There's not enough love to balance out the amount of shit this person goes through. Part of them is maybe a little bit like Power One in some ways, living in their dreams or experiencing them. And this could be like actual dreams because the cards is like somebody's sleep. Like what they want to happen in their real life, they're witnessing in their dreams sometimes, or they only get glimpses of it, or even they could possibly be daydreaming about it, about the love. Because look, in this case, I usually am drawn to the woman that's waiting right there, but in this case, I was not. I was drawn to the guy who was like yearning back here. Look, she can't even see that he's like behind her pining. Guys, weird stuff. Real hot girl shit. It's not hot girl. Like I have to figure out like what would my stuff be called because it's definitely not hot girl shit. So I'm only going to show y'all one thing because it's trippy. All right, so I was noticing that Total Eclipse of the Heart found its way into my musical rotation. No reason for this. Although I do love the song, I have not listened to it in years. But what got my attention was the turn around bright eyes part. Like, yes, right? I'm like, that's weird that that's in there, right? And then my mom was like, imagine that there is a person who wrote the track or the woman who is speaking from the main energy and that she doesn't even know that there's the spirit or the soul of somebody with her. And the only way that it came out was on the track where one of the artists who was working on the song heard, turn around bright eyes. And I'm like, that's fucking creepy, right? A few days later, right? I hear, I think I'm doing my one-on-one chat, but I hear the song from freaking Final Destination. And usually that's like, same thing as when you see one of them trucks that has all the wood logs in it, but it's there is someone standing behind you, right? So I go to look up the lyrics for that song, and literally the whole song is just like, you don't even know it, but there is somebody standing behind you. So I stopped playing The Sims because I'm like, all right, I'm tired of The Sims. I want to be The Sims. So I'm doing more stuff that makes me interactive. I am detoxing from my phone and social media, just seeing stuff. So I found this game called BitLife. Yes, y'all need to know all my tea. A bit life is just like an easy version, like simulation. I think myself is learning different processes and different ways to make money. My mind's working on some mastermind shit, and I'm just gonna go along with it. Wax on, wax off. A lot of the times, you don't know why yourself is getting you to do something, but it's your intuition testing you while preparing you for something that you are manifesting, right? So, my character was an actor, and I signed up for a movie, but look what the movie was. It's a horror film called The Angel Behind You. Sometimes when I sit down and think about all the stuff that be going on, I'm like, you don't ever scream. You don't ever seem concerned. You just be like, but that's what this made me feel like. There's someone standing behind you. Like, so, this person who doesn't get enough love is dreaming of love. It could be a particular person that they're dreaming of, but it's like their inner child is drawn to this person. Something about the person that they used to be or they wanted to be, their childlike self feels at home with that person's energy. I'm like, what does that have to do with this person's repressed self? It's like this feeling of love that they have been searching for their whole life was held back. And somebody or something in dream world has sparked it in some way, shape, or form. It's like, imagine having an idea of everything that you wanted your wife to be, and life showing you that that was just not happening. So you sort of like gave up on it. And then somehow finding that person or feeling that energy come back around. And I have Nosferatu on my list to watch this week, which I think is the same thing as Dracula, right? But that's sort of like this. Like walking through life, he rich, he fly, right? He Dracula. He can have whatever you want, mad bitches, all that. But everything is just sort of blah. There's something missing. He's all by himself all the time, and although he has a plethora of options because he's a vampire and he can seduce anybody, nobody is getting his attention until he comes across this one person that reminded him of what he was even missing. Now, in his case, it was the reincarnation of his wife, but in this case, it could be anything. Just something, someone, some energy has reminded this person of the parts of themselves that used to want somebody that they looked at like that. Somebody they never get tired of looking at is what I'm hearing. Something about feeling at home or wanting to go home to that energy is being repressed too. Repressed by this faith as well, though. This person wants to say something. It's like they want to say something, period. They can't say nothing about a lot of things. And it's all hidden behind the cross. Maybe it's even what they felt religiously, how they have been programmed or raised, but they're very lonely. And I'm going to really say that everything is based on their faith. Just like after digging through their energy for a minute, there is so much stuff inside this person that all negative feelings that they don't deal with because somebody taught them to spiritually bypass. Pray about it. Pray about it. It'll work itself out. I ain't going to focus on it too long. I'm just going to pray about it. It'll figure itself out. I can't do anything about it anyway, but there are some things that can be done in this case to bring this heavy, dense, irritated, anxious. This is different than the other energies. Power one was like heavy, right? Stoic, solid, right? Pile two was more like, right? This is like it feels electrical, like the annoyance, like, I don't know what I need, but I need something like just. But this person is like in need of all the stuff that they deprive themselves. All the inner child is ruled by the fifth house. The fifth house rules Leo. That is the heart. Also, the fourth house is home. So heart and home, like this person's heart does not have a home right now. And there are so many things they want to say, but nobody can hear them. Like here, I'm like, this person is on the verge of a tantrum. That's their inner child is being repressed. Ooh, you know how when it's time for a kid to first go to daycare or when it's time for a parent to go back to work after maternity leave, how the child just has their hands out like, no. That's what this feels like. This person has their hands out on the verge of a tantrum because nobody is giving them the love that they want or needed. They could have possibly even at the bottom, y'all, I did a whole nother freaking shuffle. Hated to suffer. So everybody, everybody in these three files has been dealing with a shadow pattern related to things that keep them not living the life they want to live, that keeps them feeling like they're on the rat wheel. Can I say that? On the merry-go-round of life. So what is this room? I felt hope. Hope was the first thing. And then the movie Hope Floats. I don't know what that's about. Hope. Let's see. Whatever I'm about to read in here is meant to spark the synchronicity of whoever is watching that this message is for. Because I didn't get much off of this, but I'm getting there. You'll know. So, Manaz, Mannaz, man, mankind is the meaning of it. The self, the individual or the human race, your attitude towards others and their attitudes towards you, friends and enemies, social order, intelligence, forethought, create, skill, ability, divine structure, intelligence, awareness. Expect to receive some sort of aid or cooperation. I guess that's what the hope is. Expect to receive some sort of aid or cooperation. As you change, things will change for you. As you accept more of you, the more other people will have no choice but to accept you. As you open yourself up to the love that you truly want instead of denying it, the easier it'll be to come in contact with it. The blocks are internal. The electricity is not on the fence. The fence is around you, but it can't hurt you, like in Jurassic Park. The fence is around you, T-Rex, but it is not on. This is your time to bust out and go for the lamb or whatever. I know that's a weird way to put it, but I'm getting T-Rex energy off of this person who has been a loner. Because don't T-Rexes be by themselves? Can I say that? That's the one dinosaur. I don't see him have like a crew. Like Velociraptors are a gang. That's a gang. You don't mess with them. But the T-Rex don't need nobody. I'm getting T-Rex energy off this person. You will fuck it up on your own. You don't need nobody else. But it's kind of lonely. And you like full of rage. It would be nice to have a moment or somebody that you could be loving with, not just in dream world. It would be nice. It would be freaking nice if all these expectations and thoughts hadn't been placed upon you so that you're not moving towards what you desire. So, what traits are in, let's say in the hidden for pile number 3? I don't think I do this one. I don't feel like it. Second. This energy is new. And then, what does this person need to do in order to integrate or bring this section of self to the front? They just want the love that they give out. It's so lonely. That's the energy here. And then I can't forget what Shadow wants to say. So, okay, so brains. This person is brains. Like that's how they function. Like a brain, words, thoughts, numbers. This person's treating themselves like a bot. when the repressed part of themselves is rash and impulsive and just wants to say, fuck all this stuff. I just want to be free. So this is similar to power one in some ways, but not exactly the same. This person is tied to the life that they have that keeps them financially stable, but they think all the time. And it's like they need something that makes them not think all the time. This okay, this makes me think about Beauty and the Beast, right? And I was just thinking about this the other day. So when he first threw Belle's dad in jail, he didn't care about that old man. He was just laying there and died, old man. He was like, whatever. Until the old man was like, oh, let me get this right. Until the old man turned out to have a daughter. When he saw the daughter, he's like, all right, we can work with that. Now, keep in mind, the beast didn't care about shit. He was angry. Everybody in the castle was scared of him. He was just in the dark all the time. He was ugly after he used to be fine. His life sucked. But when he saw the daughter, he was like, all right, whatever. But it irritated him because it was just something about her. Like he had to talk to her. Like, you want to come to dinner? And when she said no, what you mean you want to come to dinner with me? Like he liked her and he couldn't figure out why. Like her light was affecting him. It was reminding him of another part of him. Just watching her do what she do. Just fuck you doing. Like that's the energy he was giving. But then he just wanted to like sit by her because just being by her just like made him happier. He didn't want to be angry. He didn't want to be like that. It's just how he got used to being. But dang, he was drawn to her because of the way he felt when interacting with her or when being near her energy. It wasn't like he was out there looking for somebody to put in his dungeon. No, it came across him and he couldn't help his reaction to her. That's kind of what this feels like. Somebody else's light shined a light on the parts of you that you have forgotten about yourself, and it's causing a lonely, anxious, mad part of you to be resting in the back of your mind all the time, stewing like that dude from Belly. So, what do you need to do in order to bring this part of you out of the hiding? Connect with art. It's like you need to get these feelings out of you. It's like create art, actually. Put it into words, but like creative words, maybe poetry, songwriting, art, painting, actually. It's just like this, what's happening to you is a feeling, and especially with stuff happening in the dream worlds, because this is the second card that says something about dreaming that you be asleep, right? That you might not even be able to put it into words. It might be so overwhelming that the only thing you can do is something that is Piscean, which is film, art, music, dance, just something that you can feel or makes other people feel, because there isn't really no way to fully put it into words. Like it's an ad lib, it's a, I don't know what you call that stuff, like a vocalization, that's it. It's just a feeling that needs to be expressed that is overwhelming you. But in order for you to amp yourself up for whatever it is you have to do, positive affirmations came up. You need to counteract the negative thoughts that are going around in your head and fight back against them, so you can start stepping into this energy that aligns you up with love, as opposed to the one that is lining you up with probably chaos. Just thinking negative thoughts and being angry and anxious all the time is not good for you. You got my kid? No, it's not. You do need love. But it feels like self-love because the pleasure card came up, right? But it doesn't feel like detached masturbation. This feels like taking the time to actually like show yourself the love that you want to be showed from outside of yourself. Like I love me touch. Because all of this is trying to get you to line up with love and to rest in that feeling. Like I am never apart from love because God's love fills me. Like I am one with source. Like that could be some affirmation. Like I am love. I am filled with love. Love never leaves me, so I will always find love. This person wants to fix the connection. Like in their romantic life, it feels like. Like their anger and their loneliness is from being like connected to the wrong people that still make them feel alone when they're even in the room with them. Like this person sort of feels better in dreams. So that's interesting, pile three. That's sort of like, what does pile three's repressed self wants to say to them? A repressed aspect. This is just one part. This feels situational. Like it's a habit that you've had for a long time, but this one thing can be fixed situationally, like the anger. It's like there's some water in the bathtub that's too hot, but you can just like pour it, pull the drain out, and it'll just go right out right now, and you can start the bath over again. As opposed to if the tub was full and it would like scald you to put your hand in there to pull it out. No, this is just the beginning. It has not been going on too long for you not to be able to fix what this is, which is a religious dogma thing, stopping you from handling things in a different way, from doing certain things, finding different ways to deal with your anger, to deal with your unhappiness, to deal with your loneliness that are not spiritual bypassing. I wish things could be different. Didn't that come up earlier? So you don't even know the part of yourself that is like, you don't know this part of yourself. It's so bad. And I just felt like to turn off the light. You don't even want to touch this part of yourself. Like it's so tender. Like it will make you cry. Like thinking about how lonely you actually are, the party that is lonely, or that inner child piece that is, or has been lonely for a really long time. So there's the deeper wound, like, ugh, you were a lonely child. That loneliness has been forever bypassed by something else. Maybe if I focus here, maybe if I focus there. And it's like there's a part of you that is tired of focusing there, like love. I don't get enough of it. Like there's a hole, there's a gap that you want to fill. And the bypassing or the just praying about it ain't doing it for you anymore. But you need to get in touch with this part of yourself that just like is not afraid of love because the risk is worth what could possibly come on the other end. And then, all right, I'm gonna just read these off. Okay. It started with, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, right? Then I'm waiting for an apology, which would seem conflicting, but I'm just supposed to say this to y'all because y'all will understand what it means. I am I am becoming a better person, and I feel you, even though we are apart. So those were the 3 piles, and this was really freaking long. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I look forward to your feedback. Y'all have a good day.